Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to type a formal lab report for science. First thing you're going to do is get your lab paper out in front of you, and the second thing that you have to do is to open up a Google document. Always make sure that if I don't give you a specific name for your document, that you always start off with your last name and your first initial, and then you would give the name of the lab. So in this case, we're going to do the balance lab. Okay? The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to put your name on your paper. And I want you to go and do that so that your name is on every single page of the paper. To do that, you're going to go to Insert, you're going to go down to Page Break, go down to Header. When you click on that, you'll see a box appears. That whatever you put above this gray line is going to be on every page of your paper. So you're going to hit Enter, and you're going to type your first and your last name. Then you're going to type Science and the class period that I have here. So in this case, Science 1. Then you're going to hit Enter, and then I want you to come over to your Right Align. You're going to click on the Right Align key, and this is going to allow us to put a page number on every one of our pages, so that when this gets printed off, all of the pages are connected and we can keep them in order, because again, this is a formal document. So you're going to go to Insert, you're going to come all the way down to Page Number, and then you see you have 4 options. One for it to be on every page at the top, and this one is more like if you're going to do a formal research paper where you have a cover page and then the numbered pages start behind it, or you could have them at the bottom. I prefer that you put them at the top, so we're going to click on that. You'll see that you've done it correctly because a number 1 should appear and it's gray. That means the computer is going to do this. God gave us computers for a reason, to take away some of the work that we're going to do, and therefore we are going to allow them to do the work God created for them. Okay? So the next thing that you're going to do is you must then click underneath of this gray line, and it's now going to disappear, which means you're now out of the header. So I click, and notice that all disappears. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the title. So I go to Center, I put the title of my paper. Notice that I'm not doing this in bold or anything else like that. I'm just simply saying, what is this lab? And this is the balance lab. One other thing that you want to make sure that you do at this point is check to make sure that you are in the right font. Notice that I'm using Arial. You may use Arial or you may use Times New Roman. There are a lot of really cool fonts, but for this formal paper, you're either going to do Arial or Times New Roman. Next, you're going to come over and make sure that it's in the right size of font, either in 11 or 12. Do not ever go bigger or smaller than these 2 fonts. Okay? And again, I'm using 11, you can use 12. So very rarely are we going to use the bold, italicize, underline, that kind of thing. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit Enter once, hit Enter twice. That gives us space between our title and the first section of our lab report. Our lab report will always have sections. There are 6 or 7 sections to any lab report. And when you do so, you will have the title of that section followed by the body of that section, the information that goes with it. So up here, we're going to type our first section, and notice that all of the letters of this title are in capital letters. Okay? Once I've typed the hypothesis section, which is always first, I hit Enter, and then now I'm going to create a margin so that I can separate my title of my paper from my body of this section. I'm going to do that by using what's called an Increase Indent button. Now if it's not up here, which mine is not, I have to click the More. So I click More, and then I see this button that has an arrow pointing to the right. That means I'm going to click it once and twice, and now notice that I've increased the indent. Now anytime I type in here, everything is going to be lined up the way that it's supposed to. So type your hypothesis that you wrote from your lab. And remember, we always start with if, and then we're going to include the independent variable, which is what we purposefully changed in the lab. So if I increase the height which I drop a ball, then, right, that's the next required part. That tells us we're now going to give our prediction of what the result's going to be. The bounce will increase. Okay, whoops. Okay, should I have another sentence that I want to add to that? Notice that when I hit enter, it's going to keep my indent over here. In order to go back, which is what I'm ready to do to go to the next section, even if I hit enter again, there's a space, I have to use the back or decrease indent button. So I'm going to click it once, click it twice, because that's what I needed to do the first time. The next section is materials, and notice that it needs to also be in all caps. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to increase my indent, not once, but twice. And now I'm going to let the computer keep numbers for me. So now I'm going to click on the numbering button, and then now I'm going to list the materials I used in this lab. We had a tennis ball, we had a golf ball, we had a ping pong ball, we used a meter stick, we used masking tape, and we used the electronic scale. Okay, now notice that when I'm done here, it's giving me another number, which I don't need. So if I hit enter again, it disappears, and it also moves my cursor now back over here to the original margin. Now is the time in which I'm going to go for my next section. My next section should always be the procedure. And again, it's in all capital letters. I'm going to hit enter. I'm then going to increase my indent once, twice, and then I'm going to put my numbering on. Okay, so you're saying to yourself, Mrs. Beavers, what if I have 200 materials? Are they all going to be listed down this way? You bet. Now let's look at the procedure. For the procedure, the question you might be asking is, what if I don't get a procedure from you, Mrs. Beavers? What am I going to do? Then you're going to write clear step directions, just like Betty Crocker does when she gives you directions on how to make her chocolate chip cookies. Okay? It's very clear, it's very concise. Do this, do that. And in our lab, we said things like get materials. Okay?